Public affairs programming on Look TV is underwritten by the generous support of Pinnell's Restaurant, classic Italian American food since 1922, and Stored Tech, technology solutions for computers, networks, and phone. Stored Tech, your technology, our passion.
1922, Babe Ruth debuts with the Yankees. WGY signs on air. Exterminator wins the Saratoga Cup, and Pinnell's Restaurant opens its doors for the very first time. For 5 generations, Pinnell's has been preparing delicious Italian food, served in a comfortable, home-like setting where everyone is welcomed. 90 years of authentic Italian recipes, 90 years of the freshest ingredients, and 90 years of the finest classic Italian dishes, all made daily by hand. Pinnell's Italian Restaurant, a Saratoga dining tradition since 1922.
Firms deal only with prevention, the systems that block hackers and viruses. Stored Tech knows the root cause is actually good people doing bad things. So we offer a security training program which includes certifying all participants to show they understand the basics.
Technology solutions for computers, networks, and phones. Stored Tech, your technology, our passion.
Okay. Welcome everyone to the October meeting of the Warren County Board of Supervisors. Please rise while Supervisor Beatty leads us in the pledge to the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Clerk will read the roll.
Mr. Leggett?
Here.
Mr. Diamond?
Here.
Mr. McDevitt?
Here.
Ms. Bramer? Here. Mr. Lowe?
Here.
Mr. Driscoll?
Here.
Mrs. Frazier? Here. Mr. Simpson?
Here.
Ms. Hogan? Here. Mr. Dickinson?
Here.
Mr. Merlino?
Here.
Mr. Stroud? Mr. Wild?
Here.
Mr. Beatty?
Here.
Mr. McGowan?
Here.
Mr. Sokol?
Here.
Mr. Thomas?
Here.
Ms. Hyde? Here. Mr. Garrity?
Here.
Chairman Conover?
Here. We should all have received the minutes of our September 21 board meeting. Chair will entertain a motion regarding the minutes. Mr. Dickinson to approve. Ms. Frazier on the second. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. At this time, I will call the public hearing open on the proposed Warren County Local Law Number 6 and ask the clerk to read the notice.
Notice is hereby given that the Board of Supervisors of the County of Warren, New York is considering the adoption of a proposed local law number 6 for the year 2018 entitled A Local Law Amending Local Law Number 4 of 1996, which established residency requirements for Warren County deputy sheriffs to change the title from deputy sheriffs to patrol officers and correction officers, including supervisory titles. Notice is further given that pursuant to a resolution adopted by the Board of Supervisors on September 21st, 2018, a public hearing will be held by the Board of Supervisors on October 19th, 2018 at 10 a.m. in the Supervisors' rooms in the Warren County Municipal Center, Route 9, Queensbury, New York, at which time and place all persons interested in the matter of such proposed local law number 6 for the year 2018 will be heard concerning the same. A copy of said local law is available for inspection during regular business hours by contacting the clerk of the Board of Supervisors at the above stated address and may be viewed on the Warren County website.
At this time, I will open the podium. Is there anyone here wishing to speak to this local law? There being no one, I will close the public hearing. Report of the chairman of the board. Extremely busy month. September 26th, I attended the business council meeting at the Sagamore. Had a chance to listen to our governor address the group that was there. Very interesting. On September 27th, I attended the economic concerns and real property and health and human resource committee meetings. On September 28th, I attended the economic growth and support services and public works meeting. October 1, I attended the criminal justice, public safety, and county facilities, and on the 2nd, tourism tax meetings. On October 3rd, I had the opportunity to attend the all-day SALT Summit that was held at Fort William Henry. It was the best attended SALT Summit yet, and I really think that we are really headed in the right direction in terms of reducing salt around our waters and lakes and streams. And it's a very interesting coalition or partnership between the public and private sectors that's really intent on reducing salt, improving our measurement techniques, our equipment, the type of salt we apply, including brining, and getting initial equipment out to the towns to better address this issue. They also had scientists there with data on hard data on what's been happening to our waters relative to salt. I certainly would encourage all to pay attention to this and participate if you can. I think this is a lot of eyes around Warren County as it relates to the salt reduction program. On October 4th, I attended the Personnel and Finance meeting, and later in the afternoon, I attended the Lake Champlain, Lake George Regional Planning Board meeting. On October 10, I attended the Adirondack Glens Falls Transportation Council meeting, which was held at Crandall Library, and basically delivered the message that I think we've all been trying to deliver, and that is that not enough money is being put into our infrastructure, and that it's a real concern going forward. That afternoon, I had the opportunity to attend a meeting at the Fund for Lake George that was hosted by the SAVE group, where we entertained visitors from Chautauqua County who were here to discuss their experiences and their approach dealing with the harmful algae bloom issue that exists in their area. It's the second of that type of meeting. The first meeting I attended a couple months back were folks from Skaneateles County who also have issues with harmful algae blooms. And it's a very interesting meeting and I think worthwhile. And there's a lot of shared information and experiences. And there are a lot of eyes right now on Lake George and our what we're doing to make sure that this issue does not become an issue for Lake George. On October 13th, and on October 13th, I attended the Bolton Volunteer Fire Company parade and celebration for the 100 years of service to our area. It was a wonderful affair. A number of you were there, and I think you'll agree that it was just a marvelous celebration and quite a milestone for the Bolton Volunteer Fire Company. And just one other mention, yesterday I had the opportunity to get out of the office and go up and take a look at a project that we're finishing up on South Trout Lake Road that really brought a smile to my face. They were paving at South Trout Lake Road, and as some of you may know, when rural towns especially get together to help each other with the paving that goes on, because you had to have some number of trucks hauling the material and whatever. And it was just a marvelous thing to witness. Some 8 towns that were there, some 20 trucks hauling material. And I think sometimes we forget that it's the towns that actually invented shared services and have been doing shared services for a very, very, very long period of time. So to the towns that were there, certainly Warrensburg and Stony Creek and Hague and Luzerne and Chester and Johnsburg and I hope I didn't miss and Lake George and Thurman. Thank you for all that you do in shared services. Thank you. Report by committee chairman for the past month. Mr. Beatty.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Shared services did not meet. I did sit in for Mr. Diamond at the county facilities. I'm glad to see he's back in action and standing up and walking and so forth. Just to give you an update, there'll be 2 resolutions in your packet. Resolution 388. It's a memorandum of understanding / agreement with Warren County and Skimmerhorn Holdings. And also Resolution 389, which is authorizing the lease agreements with Skimmerhorn for hangars 7 and 8. We had tabled that last month. It's being brought back to the board this month. I'd like to make a couple comments. Um, I'd like to thank Mr. McDivitt, the chairman, Mr. Diamond, and Matt Sokol for doing an excellent job on the negotiating part of this agreement. I'd like to thank Mr. Skimmerhorn and all his people. We met, I think it was a total of 5 times, and the negotiations were cordial yet very purposeful. We both had our own agenda, which is what's best for Warren County and its residents, and we had to find some common ground there financially and with different pieces of the airport. And I can say 100% that I feel confident that the county is well served with this memorandum of agreement. And I believe Mr. Skimmerhorn's interests are him being part of the airport is definitely a plus for Warren County residents. So this is a win-win-win. 3 types of wins. The county residents win too. So I'll let the Chairman Diamond, if he wants to speak on that when he gets his turn to go into any more detail. But I did pass out the memorandum of agreement. It's a single page. I put it on everybody's desk this morning so that if you had any questions or something you could ask. I assume the questions will come when we have discussions on resolutions. So thank you.
Thank you.
That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Supervisor McGowan.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. I just want to say that I just went through my first round of department budget meetings. They were long and lengthy, and I just wanted to thank all the department heads for working so hard in trying to keep the costs down. After reviewing all the budgets and that, they, really held a good line except for the, unfortunately, the healthcare costs and that have gone up, and that is really hurting everybody all over the country. But I just wanted to thank them for all the hard work in trying to keep costs down.
Thank you. Supervisor Sokol.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Finance met on October 4th. Before you are resolutions 386 and 387 and resolution 417 through 425. Resolution 418, from what I understand, may be pulled. I will leave that for Supervisor Leggett to emphasize on. It was a pretty quick meeting. Unlike my normal highlights for the month, it was pretty much housekeeping issues. But I would like to say that I had an opportunity to step in for the chairman at the SUNY Adirondack meeting, where we had the opportunity to meet our chancellor for the SUNY schools. Chancellor Johnson is, I thought her bio was quite impressive. And, if you get a chance, go online and look her up. But it was only about a half an hour, 45-minute session. And there were roughly 25 people in attendance. So not everybody got a chance to say what we wanted to say, but our Supervisor Driscoll did have some kind comments to say regarding Warren County. She is in charge of 64 schools that she needs to go around. She's quite a busy woman. And secondly, I would like to echo what Supervisor McGowan just said. This process is always tough with budget, and it's nice to see everybody stepping up. The Treasurer's Office, I've been discussing issues with him, and even though we still are spending a little bit more than we are bringing in, we need to look at these issues and try to either increase revenues or decrease expenses. But that's for our Supervisor Thomas to narrow it down. No report for the Treasurer today, so that is my full report.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The man of the moment, Supervisor Thomas.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The 2019 budget. Well, I can say that our allowable increase was 2.7% on the levy. We're approaching a 2.5% increase on the levy. We started out 1.3 million over the increase on the levy, and as I say, we're down to 2.5%. So
there's been some changes. Tuesday morning, there's a budget committee meeting, and I'll go over some of the changes and some of the plans for 2019. November 2nd, the tentative budget will be presented to the board, and we'll go from there.
Thank you. Supervisor Hyde.
No report.
Supervisor Garrett.
Yeah, attended several committee meetings. October 4th was also the Personnel Finance. You have 4 resolutions in your packet. 2 of them are appointing members. One's for the Ethics Committee and one is for the Warren and Washington County IDA. And our committee fully supports these recommendations to Ethics and IDA. I think we found some good people who serve us well in the future. Would ask for everybody's support on both of those.
Thank you. Supervisor Leggett.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Criminal Justice and Public Safety met on October 1st. What you have before you today are resolutions 390 through 395. Fairly simple ones. One's for out-of-state travel, one's for grant applications, 3 or 4 pending or signing agreements or contract, and 1 for amending a local law, which we had a public hearing on before. Clarification, it's just this is not a local law regarding residency at this time. It's for changing the names to patrol officers and such rather than sheriff's deputies. I'd like to bring Under Sheriff Lamery up to the stand to talk about withdrawing of 418 and other resolutions that we will be producing.
Without objection. Sean.
Good morning. We had a resolution that was going to go through today. It was 418. We're asking for that resolution to be pulled, and the reason is this. We had a request for proposals put out to upgrade the existing recording system that we use at the Sheriff's Office. The recording system records all the 911 calls, every radio transmission, and numerous administrative lines as well. The system was put in back in 2012, the fall of 2012, at a cost of about $49,000. We're very happy with the system that we have. Quite honestly, it's been bulletproof, and we were advised by the vendor that manufactured it that it was due for a refresh or an upgrade due to the age of the system. We put out a bid. There were 2 different solutions that were offered to us this summer by the manufacturer. We told them that we wanted the less expensive option, if you will. When they provide us the bid specs, they made a mistake. They gave us the more expensive option. So when the bids actually came back and we opened them, instead of being around $50,000 or less, the bid by the only vendor that actually bid for this system was $75,000, which is way more than we want to spend. So we're going to withdraw this resolution, introduce a new resolution. We're going to put out a new RFP with the corrected specs for the solution that we're actually looking for, not the more expensive solution.
Any questions for Sean? And Chair, at this time,
Yeah, so
Supervisor Leggett, would you like to make a motion to withdraw?
I'd like to make a motion to withdraw resolution number 418 of 2018.
We have a motion to withdraw. We have a second by Supervisor Dickinson. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Thank you, Sean. Just for your information, on the reading of resolutions, the clerk will introduce 2 resolutions, one to reject the bids that we do have, and a second to go back out to bid.
I'd also like to point out, these are under the finance, but under the Sheriff's Office, in your Resolution 387 amending the budget, you'll see that the Sheriff's Office continues to bring in grant monies. For this month, it's another $235,812.
Thank you. Supervisor Diamond.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
As Supervisor Beatty had mentioned, I was unable to attend the most recent facility meeting. On today's agenda, we do have two resolutions that I'm asking the board to approve. One is the lease agreement with Shipboard Aviation, April 7th. The other one is the memorandum of understanding between the county and Shipboard Aviation. We spent an awful lot of hard work. Our supervisor, Devin, so they structure this agreement. May have a copy of it. In a manner which was structured maximum. So, having said that, good agreement. Put an awful lot of money into that particular site up there, and we've established a good rapport. And I think that things are going to improve going forward within the next 10 years. Again, you guys have done a great job. Appreciate all your hard work. I'm asking for support of the board today.
Thank you. Thank you, Supervisor Diamond. Supervisor McDevitt.
Yeah, just one observation, Mr. Chairman, if I can, and it goes back to 389, which is the Skimmerhorn proposal for the new hangars. Item 3 in this resolution, and I think it's important to point out that at the end of the lease agreement, the county has the right and an option to purchase the buildings for $1. So I think this is an example of government getting rich the old-fashioned way, slowly, but the ability to own that real estate for $1 at the end of 40 years is a good deal. A good deal for people that follow us on this. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Thank you. Supervisor Bramer.
Thank you. I did attend the New York State Association of Counties Conference at the end of September. That was a while ago now, but I wanted to report back that I had attended that, and I've been bringing some ideas back to people within the county so that we can work on some new initiatives. And also I attended the meeting at Cedars. So I look forward to being able to work through some of those concerns of the seniors when we get back to Health and Human Services Committee. And lastly, I wanted to thank Mr. Moore for providing to us the letter that will be that was supposed to be part of our resolution 408. But I will defer to Supervisor Simpson on that. I appreciate that we were able to review that letter in advance, and I also am glad that we are being cautious about that because it just needs to be something that we take our time on. As far as doing anything in the abandonment proceeding through STD.
Thank you. Supervisor Lowe.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The support committee did meet over the past month. Supervisor Leggett was gracious enough to cover for me. I thank him very much. There are two resolutions in the packet, and they are self-explanatory, but perhaps Supervisor Leggett at a moment thinks there may be something additional to add. He says there was no drama at the committee meeting, so that was good. He may want to add something else. Perhaps everything is fine. After arriving back from South Carolina, I did have an opportunity to attend a program put on by the Board of Elections displaying a possible option for new polling technology for Warren County. The Board of Elections is always looking for ways to improve the service to our citizenry. It was a very interesting option, and we may be hearing more about it as far as an easier and more effective way for each of us to vote. And that actually leads me into segues nicely into my next comment. Uh, I spent 17 days in South Carolina, and I thank everyone here for covering for me, even though you didn't have much work to cover for me, but I thank you very much. And it was an honor to be able to help down there. But it reminded me that at any one point in time, the staff that we have, and we have a lot of employees that work for Warren County, and they do a wonderful job. And at any point in time, their particular skill is needed to the infinite degree by a particular citizen. And a large part of our job is to continue to hire the best people to do these jobs, to give them the tools and resources, and to continue to give them more training so that at any time they're needed, they're able to step up and do their job to the best. Thank you.
Thank you. Supervisor Driscoll.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have no committee report, but I do want to say that along with Claudia and others, I attended the meeting at the Cedars. And this Wednesday, I had an opportunity to meet the New York State Assistant Director of Office for the Aging in Albany, as well as a registered dietitian who is responsible for a 20-county catchment area, including Warren Hamilton County Office for the Aging. They both had very positive things to say about the operations of our food programs through OFA. There still needs to be some work to be done, but I left that feeling very positive about that experience and their comments. Thank you.
Thank you. Supervisor Frazier.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Health, Human and Social Services met on September the 7th. All of the department heads presented their budgets for 2019, and we had a chance for questions if there were any. As a result of those meetings, we have resolutions 401 through 406. One deals with authorizing an agreement with Rappahannock Precision. Another one is extending an agreement that we have with Hamilton County for home energy assistance programs. Another one deals with hunt quality pest control. And then we have 404, which regards submission of an application to the Adirondack Health Institute for grant funding so that WIC people will take more advantage of buying fresh produce. Then we have an agreement with Field Foods to purchase and distribute fresh produce to WIC participants. And 406 deals with authorizing an agreement with a physical therapy provider. So I'd appreciate your support of those. Thank you.
Thank you. Supervisor Simpson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'll start off with Cornell Cooperative Extension. I was unable to attend that meeting. I was at NISAC also with Supervisor Bramer. And but I've got a couple of highlights. On October 30th, they're hosting Farm and Food Business Expo at the Desmond with Albany County CCE. The Adirondack Chambers of Commerce is partnering with them to get the word out to local vendors and buyers. Admission is free, and Supervisor Driscoll is signed up. He's attending. We have all the brochures have been handed out on everybody's place. And also the 2018 annual report and 2019 calendar have been also placed on your desk. Like I said, I was in NISAC, and I actually brought back, I sit on the Public Safety Committee, which there was a lengthy discussion at the end of that committee concerning the difficulties that are arising out of the lack of cell coverage in areas and how emergency responders are significantly hampered at even operating the software and the programs that are out there. So Supervisor Mo Wright from Saratoga County spoke at length on that, and there's a couple of follow-up meetings that are going to happen in relation to that. I also sat in the Transportation and Public Works Committee, and it's very interesting. They passed numerous resolutions here that I think we can all support, and I did bring them back if anybody would like to take a look at those. Public Works met on September 28th, and we had a presentation from Revolution Rail Riders. Rob Hart spoke to us, and he talked about his those experiences in Johnsburg this year. They were operating every day in the summer with an average of 4 or 5 trips per day, 5 days a week. After Labor Day, they attracted over 22,000 people to our area. So they had a great summer, and they've got a great operation going on. We also heard a presentation from the Stony Creek Ranch on a proposed Christmas train or holiday train. And out of that meeting, we had one resolution, which is number 407, amending the fee schedule for the Up Yonda Environmental Education Center. And also, I want to bring your attention to Resolution 408. Before I talk about the resolution, I also want to let everybody know I had a meeting with DEC. I've had discussions all through this whole process with DEC and concerning the abandonment action that the state had filed with the Surface Transportation Board and the implications it has on Warren County. And it's important for the state to understand that Warren County is the only public entity that is actually incurring a financial obligation on this rail line. So it's important for them to understand that, to know that we need options on this corridor, whether it's train or recreation, to trail. We need to keep those options open, and we really don't want things dictated without our concerns being addressed. Pleased to see that the state has filed an abeyance on the abandonment, which will essentially give a 90-day period where there's no action, and the state, in their negotiations or their talks with Omnitrax, and also with the pending sale to Ed Ellis on the Sanford Lake line, so that they can come to a conclusion that there will be no storage of any tankers or any cars in the Adirondacks. That was highlighted in the governor's state of the state, and the state is going to follow through on that to ensure that we don't have to deal with that environmental issue again. So with that being said, Resolution 408 is the letter that we had passed in committee to file with the STB, and it's my feeling that we should table that at this time and let the parties work out what they need to work out over the next 90 days. There'll still be another public comment period where we'll be able to file any communications with the STB. It's going to be another 45-day comment period, so we really don't have to be in a rush to file this.
Are you making that as a motion?
I would like to make that as a motion, Mr. Chairman.
Motion to table 408. Do we have a second to that motion? Ms. Bramer on the second. Motion to table is without discussion. All those in favor of tabling 408 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Continue.
I have to check through all these piles of paper. I think I reported on it. Oh, I just want to say the IDA did not meet last month, but I, as chairman, I do support Travis Whitehead's appointment to the IDA, and I don't have that resolution number in front of me right this second, but I want to let you know I support it. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Supervisor Hogan.
Mr. Chairman, I have no report, but I would like to take this opportunity to thank Supervisor Simpson, Mr. Moore, and Mr. Pajos for their hard work in clearing out the last of the Iowa detritus from our community. It's looking pretty good up there now.
That's good to hear. Good to hear. Supervisor Dickinson.
We did have an occupancy tax meeting this month, October 2nd. Very informative meeting. There are a lot of really interesting things out there coming our way. We had a couple of presentations that we were involved with, but there were no resolutions on that. The environmental concerns of real property services met on September 27th. We have a number of motions out of real property. Elected has done a great job along with the Swan Department. Mrs. Zane, the attorney's office. We've had a number of had a proposal out of Queensbury to take some parcels off the tax roll and actually attach them to Warren County Route 17, which is happening. Two small slivers of the road. That would expand the road width. And then also in Queensbury, there's a tax map parcel that's in environmental sensitive area. Support it to burn this parcel and conservancy. They are dedicated to conserving land. They take a look at it, interested in it. That looks protected as well. Then again in Queensbury, there are several parcels. City of Glens Falls is interested in. Motion was made. Those are the motions.
Thank you, Supervisor Dickinson. Supervisor Merlino.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Tourism met on October 2nd at a lengthy slide presentation on some of the upswings of modern technology and internet and websites, all the things that are out there that we don't have to worry about sending paperwork anymore. And it was really interesting. And the only thing we have two resolutions, 411, that was approved by our committee to go ahead and print the 2019 tourism brochure, and Wellsworth Publishing was the lowest bidder. The other one was to allow for out of state and Canada motor coach travel, and that was also approved by the committee. We also had on the same date, on an October 2nd, Parks O&M Committee, and there was just a couple of resolutions, 422 and 423, to take money out of the parking fees account and move it over to the Jollywood Park budget, so that we can pay the Village of Lake George for some of the maintenance that they do during the summer on the park. Those are the two I have. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Supervisor Merlino. Supervisor Wild.
Mr. Chairman, thank you. I don't chair any committees, so I'm going to keep my report brief today. I do participate in many committees, and I want to commend all the supervisors that chair committees for doing a great job in summarizing the activities of the last month.
Thank you. Report by the Supervisor Garrity, of course.
Yeah, I'd like to congratulate Dennis, Chairman of the Tax Committee. I work on the New York State basketball tournament committee, so I'm kind of biased for bringing that thing back. Dennis was instrumental working with the committee of committing us to some actually tax money to make that viable again. And it's past two hurdles, still has one more hurdle to go. To bring the tournament back to Glens Falls is a great thing for the community, for the kids, for the city of Glens Falls. So Dennis, without your help behind the scenes, talking with the committee people, so I thank you.
Yeah, and I forgot to mention also, Dennis, congratulations to the town of Lake George on your winning the that award for the salt reduction. Lake George has really been leading the way in the salt reduction program, and it was very, very well deserved. And congratulations.
You guys are trying to embarrass me. You're doing a good job. The award that we received was a swim award from the Snow and Ice Management Association, International Association, and I would just like to point out that I had almost nothing to do with it. It was spearheaded by Dan Davis, who is our head of our DPW. He and his crew have embraced the Snow and Ice program. We are rapidly approaching 50% reduction in salt use, which is a lot of money. quickly approaching 50%. We now have 3 live edge plows. They plow off 90-some% of the snow in one pass. We're going to use them on our 3 major roads to help us cut down on salt use. And we've also equipped all of our trucks with all the latest technology, temperature gauges. It's like flying commercial airplane. You get in one of those trucks. I don't know how they do the main plow, read all the gauges, but they do it and they don't seem to have any problem. But the credit really goes to Dan and his crew. They've done a great job. This is the second major award they've won in the salt. It is an accomplishment for them.
Thank you. Report by the county administrator. Oh, I'm sorry, Supervisor Merlino. My apologies.
You know, he gets so much credit, I have to ask him for some help. Those plows really do a great job. And I tried to get one for town of Lake Luzerne a couple weeks ago. I spoke to some people and I was told that the money was only for, the grant money was only for the watershed properties. And that really bothers me. Because any grant money comes from the state, as all the taxpayers of any county in New York State. Those plows are $22,000 each. They had a very great amount of money to pay for a lot of that equipment. And I think it's just tough for us little towns we should be involved when grants come into our county. You know, it just bothers me that we were told that it's only for watershed property. And most of the watershed property is along on the eastern side, the Lake George side of the water. So yeah. I'd love to get some help. If Mr. Dickinson can help me out, get this guy to help me out, I'd really appreciate it.
Shared services.
I'm sure he would be happy to. Supervisor Dickinson.
It is a problem, and she's absolutely right. It is money well spent, and it really should be money for a town outside of the Lake George Basin. There's no question about the effectiveness. It's immediate. It doesn't require a lot of special training, and the results are unbelievable. So it really is.
I agree. Now that I think the demonstration program is beginning to show that it can make a big difference. I think, the bottom line is all our waters are important throughout really the country, but certainly throughout Warren County. And I couldn't agree with you more, Gene. And I'll pass that message along. Supervisor
Mr.
Simpson.
Chairman, I just want to let everybody know also that we have $8,000 in our monies from the county towards equipment that could be used specifically for that. That's something we should probably look at.
Supervisor Thomas.
I would just like to make the comment that Soil and Water Conservation District is also trying to promote and highlight the Upper Hudson River watershed. So it's kind of been ignored for a long time, and we're trying to bring more attention.
Again, I don't think there's any question that salt contamination is an issue everywhere, and I think the science is showing that. And I think that what's been happening through the SAVE partnership is to try to put together a demonstration model that can have real-world results, real results. And I think that between brining and equipment and the different types of applications, measuring temperatures, and so many things that I agree with you, Dennis, that I can't even begin to understand it. As not being a highwayman, when those things are applied and applied correctly, it can have a significant result in the reduction of salt. And I mean, that's the end game here. Thank you. Report of the county administrator.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. In contrast to last month, I'll try to keep it brief today. It was a very busy month. Some of the highlights were after this September 21st board meeting. I sat down with our real property director, Lexi, and she took me through all the parcels that are up for tomorrow's auction. Thank you, Lexi. And on Tuesday, September 25th, Wednesday the 26th, and Wednesday, October 3rd, I met with all of the county department heads to conduct their second round of evaluations for 2018. Very good opportunity to speak about their goals, how they've been coming along, and to set some new goals going into next year. Very, very constructive process. On Thursday, September 27th, I met with our labor attorney to get an update on the unsettled PBA contract, as well as the bifurcation of the alliance, which represents our correction officers and various administrative officials. Tuesday, October 2nd, I met with Yeager and Flynn, our health insurance consultant, to discuss the insurance renewal. On Thursday, the 11th, I met with the public defender to discuss her 5-year plan, which she'll be submitting to the Office of Indigent Legal Services. And that is for new funding that the state is making available to all counties for statewide implementation of the Harrell Herring issues to improve public defense. On Monday, October 15th and Thursday, the 18th, the budget team convened with Supervisor Thomas's leadership, and we're putting the final touches on that. We may meet again, and as Supervisor Thomas indicated, we'll have an update on Tuesday at the committee meeting. And on Tuesday, October 16th, I attended a voting machine demonstration over at Board of Elections for a few hours. It'll be within the next few years. We'll be looking at replacing voting machines, which will be a significant expense, and we're just trying to see what the next generation technology is out there, how we might be able to utilize that new technology to save money in other areas of Board of Elections. And that'll be an analysis that will continue. But it was a very, very interesting demonstration by one of the manufacturers of election machines, voting machines rather. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. Report of the county attorney.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to draw the board's attention to Resolution 389. This is a lease agreement for hangars 7 and 8. There was a revision to it. The initial resolution only included the square footage for the building. So the revision now includes the square footage for the building and the land. And this increases the annual rent owed to the county. Resolution 425 was also revised, and this was to include a $2,250 mobilization demobilization fee. So the not to exceed amount did increase for that resolution. I also did want to bring to the board's attention that the foreclosure auction will be tomorrow. It takes place in the Warren County Supreme Court room and will start at 10 a.m. The doors open at 9 a.m. I did want to tell the board that when we started this year's foreclosure process, there were 654 properties that were in default. Tomorrow, there will only be 30 properties at the auction.
Very good. That concludes. Thank you. Just before we move on to reading of communications, I just want to make mention on your desk is a report of the Committee of the Assessment Rolls. A couple of tables look like this. This is one of maybe the two most important documents you may pass across your desk, because what this shows in one place is the a breakdown of the assessed value of this entire county by municipality. And so in one place succinctly, you can see how the some 10 billion plus dollars of assessed value are broken down by municipality. So I encourage you to take a look at this and also keep it on file. Thank you. Reading of communications.
Monthly report of criminal and family workloads for August 2018 from the Warren County Probation Department, June 30th, 2018 and July 31, 2018 financial reports from the Capital District Regional Contract Bidding Corp, annual financial statements, and independent auditors reports from the County of Warren for the year ended December 31, 2017, minutes from the September 19th, 2018 meetings of the Warren, Washington County's IDA and CDC, Capital District Regional Off-Track Bidding Corp August payment in the amount of $7,291, New York State Association of Counties packet of resolutions adopted by county delegates at the 2018 Fall Seminar, and Washington County Board of Supervisors Resolution Number 235 of 2018 supporting Adirondack Community College Capital Improvement Plan for 2019 and 2020.
Reading of resolutions.
Proposed resolution numbers 386 through 426 were mailed to the board and posted to the county website last week. Proposed resolution numbers 389 and 425 were amended after mailing. Copies of the revised resolutions were emailed to the board and posted to the county website earlier this week, and they are on your desk. A motion is needed to approve the revisions to resolution numbers 389 to 425 as provided.
Motion by Supervisor Simpson, second by Supervisor Dickinson. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Proposed resolution numbers 427 through 429 were developed after mailing. They were emailed to the board. Copies are on your desk. A motion is needed to bring 427 through 429 to the floor.
Supervisor Thomas on the motion. Is there a second? Supervisor Hogan on the second. Discussion. All those in favor of bringing them forward signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
There are the two proposed floor resolutions in your folders, both pertaining to action required from the sheriff's office, as previously explained. Motion is needed to bring those to the floor.
Motion by Supervisor Sokol, second by Supervisor Leggett. Discussion. Supervisor Loeb.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. These two motions seem to be part of the motion that we're going to remove as far as the 911. I wonder what the relationship is.
Supervisor Leggett.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It's procedural. So we pulled 418 because it was bid incorrect. So one is to reject all the bids that was received, and that would be proposed floor resolution number 1. And then we have to go out to bid again, bid with the correct specifications. That's the proposed floor resolution number 2.
Thank you. You're welcome. Supervisor Ram.
Did we go out for a request for bids with the wrong specs, or did they come back with the, I thought what you said was.
We went out with wrong sales.
We're ready for the question. Do we have a motion? Second. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor of bringing this forward signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Floor resolution number 1 will now be resolution number 430. Floor resolution number 2 will now be resolution 431. I would also note that your resolution index does not list resolutions 399 and 400 as requiring roll call vote, but they will be required because they both deal with the transfer of real property acquired by the county.
399 will be a roll call, and 400 will be a roll call. Now I will open up to the audience. Anyone wishing to address the board regarding proposed resolutions. There being no one, I will open up the floor for any requests for roll call. Supervisor Hogan. 394, roll call on 394. Any other requests for roll call? Supervisor DeGowan.
388.
Roll call on 388. Supervisor Beatty.
415.
Roll call on 415. Any other requests? Supervisor Loeb.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. 393, please.
Roll call on 393. Any other requests for roll call? There being none, I will open up the floor to the board regarding discussion on resolutions. Supervisor Beatty.
Yeah, resolution 415, which is the appointment of Travis Whitehead to the Warren, Washington County IDA, I think is an outstanding recommendation. Probably the guy who does more work than everybody else in the county combined on finding out the facts and the data behind each and every situation. And to have someone of that integrity, he's not a Republican, he's not a Democrat, I think he's a blank or an independent or whatever. But the fact of the matter is the guy is phenomenal in finding out what the best avenue is for the taxpayers. And I would 1,000% be supportive of putting him on that agency. As we all know, when there's few checks and balances, things happen. Lake George, Lake Champlain Regional Planning Board, which was a fiasco. as well as some of the other alphabet soup agencies sometimes can go awry, even though they have the best intentions. So I kind of wish we could put Mr. Whitehead on every other one of the alphabet soup agencies. At least I'd feel comfortable that the taxpayers were well represented, but I fully support that one. Thank you.
Thank you. Discussion on other resolutions. Vote on resolution.
Resolution 386, making supplemental appropriations. Mr. Beatty?
Yes.
Mr. McGowan?
Yes.
Mr. Sokol?
Yes, I'm sorry, yes.
Mr. Thomas?
Yes.
Ms. Hyde?
Yes.
Mr. Garrity?
Yes.
Mr. Leggett?
Yes.
Mr. Diamond?
Yes.
Mr. McDevitt?
Yes.
Ms. Bramer?
Yes.
Mr. Lowe?
Yes.
Mr. Driscoll?
Yes.
Mrs. Frazier?
Yes.
Mr. Simpson?
Yes.
Ms. Hogan?
Yes.
Mr. Dickinson?
Yes.
Mr. Merlino?
Yes.
Mr. Wild?
Yes.
Chairman Conover?
Yes.
Resolution 387, amending Warren County budget for 2018. Mr. Beatty?
Yes.
Mr. McGowan?
Yes.
Mr. Sokol?
Yes.
Mr. Thomas?
Yes.
Ms. Hyde? Yes. Mr. Garrity?
Yes.
Mr. Leggett?
Yes.
Mr. Diamond?
Yes.
Mr. McDevitt?
Yes.
Ms. Bramer?
Yes.
Mr. Lowe?
Yes.
Mr. Driscoll?
Yes.
Mrs. Frazier?
Yes.
Mr. Simpson?
Yes.
Ms. Hogan? Yes. Mr. Dickinson?
Yes.
Mr. Merlino?
Yes.
Mr. Wild?
Yes.
Chairman Conover?
Yes.
Resolution 388, authorizing memorandum of understanding between Warren County and Skimmerhorn Aviation. Mr. Beatty?
Yes.
Mr. McGowan?
Abstain.
Mr. Sokol?
Yes.
Mr. Thomas?
Yes.
Ms. Hyde? Yes. Mr. Garrity?
Yes.
Mr. Leggett?
Yes.
Mr. Diamond?
Yes.
Mr. McDevitt?
Yes.
Ms. Bramer?
Yes, Supervisor Beatty, thank you for putting these on our desk, and I appreciate that too. I meant to say that. And yes.
More than welcome.
Mr. Lowe?
Yes.
Mr. Driscoll?
Yes.
Mrs. Frazier?
Yes.
Mr. Simpson?
Yes.
Ms. Hogan? Yes. Mr. Dickinson?
Yes.
Mr. Merlino?
Yes.
Mr. Wild?
Yes.
Chairman Conover?
Yes.
Resolution 389, authorizing airport real property lease agreements with Skimmerhorn Aviation. Mr. Beatty?
Yes.
Mr. McGowan?
Abstain.
Mr. Sokol?
Yes.
Mr. Thomas?
Yes.
Ms. Hyde?
Yes.
Mr. Garrity?
Yes.
Mr. Leggett?
Yes.
Mr. Diamond?
Yes.
Mr. McDevitt?
Yes.
Ms. Bramer?
Yes.
Mr. Lowe?
Yes.
Mr. Driscoll?
Yes.
Mrs. Frazier?
Yes.
Mr. Simpson?
Yes.
Ms. Hogan? Yes. Mr. Dickinson?
Yes.
Mr. Merlino?
Yes.
Mr. Wild?
Yes.
Chairman Conover?
Yes.
Resolution 393, authorizing agreement with Capital Digitronic for installation of emergency equipment. Mr. Beatty?
Yes.
Mr. McGowan?
Yes.
Mr. Sokol?
Yes.
Mr. Thomas?
Yes.
Ms. Hyde?
Yes.
Mr. Garrity?
Yes.
Mr. Leggett?
Yes.
Mr. Diamond?
No.
Mr. McDevitt?
No.
Ms. Bramer?
No.
Mr. Lowe?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. 6-7 years ago, when this equipment first became available to Warren County, I argued several times against the need to have this equipment in Warren County as part of our law enforcement. So with that argument still in place, I see no need to put more money into equipment that I don't feel is appropriate for Warren County emergency services. Well, no.
Mr. Driscoll?
No.
Mrs. Frazier?
Yes.
Mr. Simpson?
Yes.
Ms. Hogan? No. Mr. Dickinson?
Yes.
Mr. Merlino?
Yes.
Mr. Wild?
Yes.
Chairman Conover?
Yes.
Resolution 394, authorizing an amendment agreement with correctional medical care. Mr. Beatty?
Yes.
Mr. McGowan?
Yes.
Mr. Sokol?
Yes.
Mr. Thomas?
Yes.
Ms. Hyde?
Yes.
Mr. Garrity?
Yes.
Mr. Leggett?
Yes.
Mr. Diamond?
Yes.
Mr. McDevitt?
No.
Ms. Bramer?
No.
Mr. Lowe?
Yes.
Mr. Driscoll?
No.
Mrs. Frazier?
Yes.
Mr. Simpson?
Yes.
Ms. Hogan? Abstain. Mr. Dickinson?
Yes.
Mr. Merlino?
Yes.
Mr. Wild?
Yes.
Chairman Conover?
Yes.
Resolution 395, enacting local law number 6 of 2018. Mr. Beatty?
Yes.
Mr. McGowan?
Yes.
Mr. Sokol?
Yes.
Mr. Thomas?
Yes.
Ms. Hyde? Yeah. Mr. Garrity?
Yes.
Mr. Leggett?
Yes.
Mr. Diamond?
Yes.
Mr. McDevitt?
Yes.
Ms. Bramer?
Yes.
Mr. Lowe?
Yes.
Mr. Driscoll? Driscoll?
Yes.
Mrs. Frazier?
Yes.
Mr. Simpson?
Yes.
Ms. Hogan? Yes. Mr. Dickinson?
Yes.
Mr. Merlino?
Yes.
Mr. Wild?
Yes.
Chairman Conover?
Yes.
Resolution 399, authorizing sale of town of Queensberry tax map parcels to the city of Glens Falls following 2018 Warren County tax foreclosure action. Mr. Beatty?
Yes.
Mr. McGowan?
Yes.
Mr. Sokol? Mr. Thomas?
Yes.
Ms. Hyde? Mr. Garrity?
Yes.
Mr. Leggett?
Yes.
Mr. Diamond?
Yes.
Mr. McDevitt?
Yes. Yes.
Ms. Bramer?
Yes.
Mr. Lowe?
Yes.
Mr. Driscoll?
Yes.
Mrs. Frazier?
Yes.
Mr. Simpson?
Yes.
Ms. Hogan?
Yes.
Mr. Dickinson? Mr. Merlino?
Yes.
Mr. Wild?
Yes.
Chairman Conover?
Yes.
Resolution 400, authorizing transfer of town of Queensberry tax map parcel to the Lake Forge Land Conservancy. Mr. Beatty?
Yes.
Mr. McGowan?
Yes.
Mr. Sokol? Mr. Thomas?
No.
Ms. Hyde? Mr. Garrity?
Yes.
Mr. Leggett?
Yes.
Mr. Diamond?
Yes.
Mr. McDevitt?
Yes.
Ms. Bramer?
Recuse.
Mr. Lowe?
Yes.
Mr. Driscoll?
Yes.
Mrs. Frazier?
Yes.
Mr. Simpson?
Yes.
Ms. Hogan? Yes. Mr. Dickinson?
Yes.
Mr. Merlino?
Yes.
Mr. Wild?
Yes.
Chairman Conover?
Yes.
Resolution 413, amending table of organization. Mr. Beatty?
Yes.
Mr. McGowan?
Yes.
Mr. Sokol?
Yes.
Mr. Thomas?
Yes.
Ms. Hyde? Mr. Garrity?
Yes.
Mr. Leggett?
Yes.
Mr. Diamond?
Yes.
Mr. McDevitt?
Yes.
Ms. Bramer?
Yes.
Mr. Lowe?
Yes.
Mr. Driscoll?
Yes.
Mrs. Frazier?
Yes.
Mr. Simpson?
Yes.
Ms. Hogan? Yes. Mr. Dickinson?
Yes.
Mr. Merlino?
Yes.
Mr. Wild?
Yes.
Chairman Conover?
Yes.
Resolution 415, appointing member of Warren Washington County IDA. PC. Mr. Beatty?
Yes, and, again, my full support for Mr. Whitehead on this committee. Yes.
Mr. McGowan?
Yes, and a thank you for Mr. Whitehead for stepping up.
Mr. Sokol?
Yes.
Mr. Thomas?
Yes.
Ms. Hyde? Yes. Mr. Garrity?
Yes.
Mr. Leggett?
Yes.
Mr. Diamond?
Yes.
Mr. McDevitt?
Yes.
Ms. Bramer?
Yes.
Mr. Lowe?
Yes.
Mr. Driscoll?
Yes.
Mrs. Frazier?
Yes.
Mr. Simpson?
Yes.
Ms. Hogan?
Yes.
Mr. Dickinson?
Yes.
Mr. Merlino?
Yes, without a speech.
Mr. Wild?
As Supervisor Merlino, yes.
Chairman Conover?
Yes.
Resolution 420, authorizing appropriation of funds from deferred revenue, Gaslight Village parking fees, and Charles R. Wood Park budget. Mr. Beatty?
Yes.
Mr. McGowan?
Yes.
Mr. Sokol? Mr. Thomas?
Yes.
Ms. Hyde? Yes. Mr. Garrity?
Yes.
Mr. Leggett?
Yes.
Mr. Diamond? Mr. McDevitt?
Yes.
Ms. Bramer?
Yes.
Mr. Lowe?
Yes.
Mr. Driscoll?
Yes.
Mrs. Frazier?
Yes.
Mr. Simpson?
Yes.
Ms. Hogan?
Yes.
Mr. Dickinson?
Yes.
Mr. Merlino?
Yes.
Mr. Wild?
Yes.
Chairman Conover?
Yes.
Resolution 421, authorizing appropriation of funds from deferred revenue Gaslight Village parking fees to Charles R. Wood Park budget. Mr. Beatty?
Yes.
Mr. McGowan?
Yes.
Mr. Sokol?
Yes.
Mr. Thomas?
Yes.
Ms. Hyde? Yes. Mr. Garrity?
Yes.
Mr. Leggett?
Yes.
Mr. Diamond?
Yes.
Mr. McDevitt?
Yes.
Ms. Bramer?
Yes.
Mr. Lowe?
Yes.
Mr. Driscoll?
Yes.
Mrs. Frazier?
Yes.
Mr. Simpson?
Yes.
Ms. Hogan?
Yes.
Mr. Dickinson?
Yes.
Mr. Merlino?
Yes.
Mr. Wild?
Yes.
Chairman Conover?
Yes.
Resolution 422, authorizing appropriation of funds from deferred revenue Gaslight Village parking fees to Charles R. Wood Park budget. Mr. Beatty?
Yes.
Mr. McGowan?
Yes.
Mr. Sokol?
Yes.
Mr. Thomas?
Yes.
Ms. Hyde? Yes. Mr. Garrity?
Yes.
Mr. Leggett?
Yes.
Mr. Diamond?
Yes.
Mr. McDevitt?
Yes. Yes.
Ms. Bramer?
Yes.
Mr. Lowe?
Yes.
Mr. Driscoll?
Yes.
Mrs. Frazier?
Yes.
Mr. Simpson?
Yes.
Ms. Hogan?
Yes.
Mr. Dickinson?
Yes.
Mr. Merlino?
Yes.
Mr. Wild?
Yes.
Chairman Conover?
Yes.
Resolution 423, authorizing county treasurer to transfer funds from motor fuel system reserve to road machinery. Mr. Beatty?
Yes.
Mr. McGowan?
Yes.
Mr. Sokol?
Yes.
Mr. Thomas?
Yes.
Ms. Hyde? Yes. Mr. Garrity?
Yes.
Mr. Leggett?
Yes.
Mr. Diamond?
Yes.
Mr. McDevitt?
Yes.
Ms. Bramer?
Yes.
Mr. Lowe?
Yes.
Mr. Driscoll?
Yes.
Mrs. Frazier?
Yes.
Mr. Simpson?
Yes.
Ms. Hogan?
Yes.
Mr. Dickinson?
Yes.
Mr. Merlino?
Yes.
Mr. Wild?
Yes.
Chairman Conover?
Yes.
Resolution 424, decreasing capital project H365 Bay Road Preservation Project. Mr. Beatty?
Yes.
Mr. McGowan?
Yes.
Mr. Sokol?
Yes.
Mr. Thomas?
Yes.
Ms. Hyde? Yes. Mr. Garrity? Leggett?
Yes.
Mr. Diamond?
Yes.
Mr. McDevitt?
Yes.
Ms. Bramer?
Yes.
Mr. Logue?
Yes.
Mr. Driscoll?
Yes.
Mrs. Frazier?
Yes.
Mr. Simpson?
Yes.
Ms. Hogan?
Yes.
Mr. Dickinson?
Yes.
Mr. Merlino?
Yes.
Mr. Wild?
Yes.
Chairman Conover?
Yes. Have a motion on the balance. Supervisor Dickinson, Supervisor Bramer on the second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Now I'll offer the privilege of the floor to anyone in the audience wishing to address the Board of Supervisors on any subject. There being no one, announcements. Supervisor Garrett.
My fellow supervisors, I ask that you take a look at the sales tax spreadsheet that was distributed by the treasurer. If you were to live in my community, you would think a grave injustice was being done to the way sales tax is distributed. We're the second biggest town in the county, 4,094 residents, based on the 2010 census. We get the third lowest amount of sales tax distributed through 3 quarters, $659,312.98, and 4.2% over last year. What I'm mistold is this is distributed by assessed valuation. Not much I can do about assessed valuation because we're at 100%. I would like to point out that $9,250,300 the assessed value of my town is exempt from taxes because it is county and state-owned buildings, not vacant land. While I appreciate the employees coming into Warrensburg to work every day, and I'm sure they spend money in my community, I'm not seeing it. The number does not include the new Hudson Headwaters property, which sees around 50,000 encounters a year. Again, I'm grateful that it's located in my community, but it's not on the tax rolls to the tune of $9,772,900, which is also. I think it's time we did something about how the way the wealth is distributed. The lakefront communities have town tax rates that range from 0 to $1.52. My tax rate next year will be $3.69 per thousand. If you were to look at the sales tax distribution table by population for the first 3 quarters of this year, the highest one I could find, which is the lakefront community, their residents are getting back $1,654.46 per resident back in sales tax to their community, while Warrensburg resident is getting $161.04. It's all here. I have the documents to back this up. I'm not disparaging anybody who's that lucky. When it came to distribution of funds for invasive species, which went to what I consider the wealthiest communities around the lake, I raised my hand and said, yes, give them the money. We need to protect the lakes. When the 2002 sewer deal was made for the city of Glens Falls to get extra sales tax money, I know the up-county supervisors voted against it, but the city started out getting $388,027.25 the first year for the extra money from sales tax to be able to take sewer from the richest town in the county, Queensburg. Now it's up over $600,000 a year because they're raising sales tax. I'm sure any one of you can find deficiencies in the way money is distributed, but I just appreciate you listening to me. And I have all the documents here if you would like to compare it. It's very hard for a non-lake community to run their budgets, and I'm in the same boat as the city is in. The city is a little bit better than the town of Warrensburg, not much, but I think deals are made all the time. Side deals have been made here all the time to help these communities. And I am so pleased that I have everybody coming into my community every day. State workers, DEC, DOT, all the county facilities. But then when you look at it, the prime land at the fairgrounds can never be sold. And it sits there, 23, 24 acres of land along a river that could be developed, will never be developed. So, as much as I like this document, it sends a pit in my stomach every time it's distributed. So I would ask that everybody go home, pull it up on your computers, and take a good look at it. And if you think it's fair, okay, we've been dealing with it since 1972. But there are other ways to distribute some of the sales tax, which is accepted by the state of New York. And I'm just asking, please look at this. Look at the numbers for yourself. And if you think it's fine, I'm okay with it because I survive and our town survives and we do very well. And it's just like the city with bringing all the people in with the hospitals and all the exempt properties. We're in the same boat, but I'm a small community. I'm the second biggest community in the county. When I have to explain this to my taxpayers, they don't understand it. They don't get it. How come we get so much less sales tax than everybody else? And I did check with Mike this morning. It is based on assessed valuation, total assessed valuation. Can't make more land, folks, but I need some help. And as an aside, when the sewer project started coming down from the countryside, town of Warrensburg, we did our $50,000 in engineering studies, which we paid for. It's a county project, mind you. We put our crews up there, county project, mind you, and it wasn't until this week that the county finally came up and started helping us with the sewer project in the countryside, which I very much greatly appreciate. But I'm just saying, please, don't take my word for it. Take this, go home, pull it up on your computer, look at it. If you have questions, I'd be happy to ask. And I don't begrudge any one of those communities one dime they're getting. But if you lived in Warrensburg, you certainly would have questions about this tape. Thank you.
Announcements. Supervisor
I'd like
Dunn.
to comment, briefly speak about Eric's comments today. When I was mayor, I looked at the document very closely. I understand his concerns about many uptown communities. Several, they're hemorrhaging money. They don't have money to balance. They don't have money to buy equipment. What's the answer? Maybe it's time to have a discussion about raising sales. As a result, whether it's percentage of quarter percent, I did the math, and I looked at cost benefits, percentages for the city, and it was interesting how much more sales tax the city would collect, but also of the other communities that have been hemorrhaging money over the years. There's very little economic development going on in some of these places.
Supervisor Melino.
Full kudos to Mr. Garrity. All the years that know me, for 13 years, I've been complaining about the same thing. It's finally catching up to a lot of our small communities. And I said this many a time. Lake Luzerne, we can't have a Lowe's, Home Depot, all the great restaurants that Queensbury people have. But all our people have to go over the mountains to buy at Lowe's, Home Depot. And our sales tax revenue there, we don't get a portion of that. So there is time that we really have to sit down and look. Same thing with that plow that I was talking about earlier. $22,000. All the towns along the lake that are getting it from the grant. I can't afford $22,000 to buy a plow, which will help me reduce salt on my roads and around my lake. But so I give kudos to Mr. Garrity. After all these years, I've been talking to him about it. He's finally understands what I'm saying.
He's a slow learner.
Yeah, I mean, I think
Take the documents.
I think it makes for an interesting discussion, and that I just would ask everyone to keep in mind that every dollar of revenue that comes into the county benefits on an assessed value basis. Let me say that again. Every dollar of revenue comes into the county benefits each municipality on an assessed value basis. So if a dollar of revenue comes into the county, whether it's sales tax or any other revenue, naturally Queensbury, I think it's around 36%. Queensberry benefits at 36%. That's 36 cents that they don't have to pay in taxes. The only difference with sales tax is that we allow the towns to take the sales tax into their municipal budgets. If every penny of sales tax remained with the county, each town would benefit based upon their assessed value. And if you take money into your budget, your liability in the county budget remains the same. It's not reduced. But that's different than the discussion of how do we reach out and help smaller towns. And quite frankly, Mr. Garrity is absolutely correct. It is different than a sidebar agreement on sewer, which has been highlighted. So, but I think it's very important that you understand the numbers and understand how the numbers come into the budget and what they mean, and why they exist the way they exist. And then we can have an intelligent discussion about this. But under announcements, perhaps
No,
perhaps Mr. McDevitt.
I don't have an announcement, but I would just like to comment on Supervisor Diamond's, I think, call for consideration of raising sales tax in Warren County. That's not something that I would support at this time. I think we're a county that, in general terms, is economically is in pretty good shape. I did not sense that was what you were calling for, Supervisor Garrity.
Absolutely not. What I'm calling for is the distribution of what we got. There are different ways to do it according to the state. I think it's time that we put all the residents, we consider all the residents of the county, and mine are, like I said, I have the second most amount of people in the county behind the city, behind Queensberry. And when I tell them that you generate 160, or you get back $161, and somebody in a lakefront community gets back $1,600, I can't believe that just because you live on a lake, that you're going to spend that much more money in sales tax. It may be true, but I do know one thing. That Mr. Swan did a study of the sales tax collected in my community. It took him a long time to do it because they won't break it down. You know, the city knows exactly how much they collect because there's Warrensburg as a town collecting more money than they get back in sales tax. There's something wrong with the way we're doing this. And I don't begrudge the people that have the $1 million homes, but I'm not sure they are any better than the person who lives in my community 365 days a year, goes to work. And listen to what I said. I'm so happy that all of you come to my community for jobs. The money's not staying. It's going back to the county, as the chairman mentioned. It does go back to the county. You know, I know the ins and outs of this, and I'm just saying that I just ask that you look, just take a home and look at it. If you all think it's right, I'm good. I can live with it.
I certainly will look at it, Supervisor. I think if you were to ask the person that lives in that multi-million-dollar home on Lake George, he probably does not jump up and down for joy when he receives his property tax. I'm going to guess he's not that happy. So.
And I feel for the city. I really do feel for the residents of the city. I have all their numbers here. I really feel for the city. It's difficult. I don't know how the mayor did it. A number of years of cracking budgets. I mean, when you look at the rate, you look at the city tax rate compared to the other tax rate based on 100%. It's double. But I have people, my tax rate is 5 times, 6 times the lake community tax rate. And I have it all. Just take the sheet, food for thought. You know, I've been accused of being too quiet, sitting here for all these years, so I guess now I'm out of my shit.
Very interesting. Super. I just thought I saw Supervisor Bramer's hand.
I did, and I'll just briefly. I mean, the taxes in the city are horrendous. You go across the line into Queensberry, and they drop by half, and that's not even considering our school taxes. So I understand where you're coming from. I will certainly look. I had two comments to make. One is we are still going back to committee to look at the plastic bag legislation. So I know you're all excited about that, but it'll be at the next legislative and rules committee whenever we're able to work that into the schedule. The second thing I wanted to announce is that this is Adirondack Film Festival, so come to the city and spend your money.
Supervisor Loeb.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to add to your comments and the other comments, and I agree fully with Supervisor Garrity. The flow of money in all directions is not just a simple one direction going this way, one line going back that way. A lot of different levels. For instance, this role that we all signed here for the CEST evaluation indicates where the money is coming from as far as the annual levy, the taxpayers coming into the coffers. But it doesn't make a mention of where that money is spent. And if you actually look at the numbers through the county, one level of movement of money, Glens Falls makes out very well because it's based on our need in certain areas, such as social services, court services, etc. On the other hand, we don't get services from the road patrol, so there are a lot of different flows of numbers. That flow number we pay in Glens Falls, we pay based on our assessed evaluation, but we receive back based on our need. And I think Supervisor Garrity is addressing another area, that there's another level of needs that we should be looking at. Money is distributed constantly. When we reassess in any one town, someone says, oh my goodness, my taxes just went up. And that's not fair. On the other hand, you might look at it and say, well, hold on for a second. We've reassessed and somebody's got to pay the taxes, and this other person's taxes went down because they've been covering for you all these years, and now you have to pay your fair share. So if we redistribute the flow of the money, then maybe that's appropriate. Because now it's time to redistribute the fair share, and maybe the small towns need to get a larger portion. Because after all, I think I've said this 1,000 times over the years, the residents in whether in Luzerne, Waurikon, Warrensburg, Glens Falls, Queensburg, not to leave anyone out, every single resident is of equal value, and we as a county have to take care of every single resident equally. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
You're welcome. Announcements. Supervisor Wild.
Mr. Chairman, thank you very much. I know this has been discussed before, but I wanted to publicly recognize the effort that went into the Warren County Recreation Mapper. Over the past week or so, I've found hikes that I didn't know exist that were quite amazing. So we had company from out of town, and we are able to take advantage of that. I think it's an awesome piece of software, and actually he was actually a web developer, and he gave our team a bunch of kudos for the ease of use and for how well designed and built it was.
Any other announcements? Supervisor Beatty.
Yeah, I just wanted to make a comment about that Cedars meeting last week with Virginia Winters, who organized it. Frank O'Keefe, former mayor and treasurer of the county, who also was the actual host of that meeting. That type of input from our seniors, volunteers, county workers was invaluable to me. And I thank some of the supervisors who were able to get there. Mr. Driscoll, Ms. Bramer, Mr. McGowan, Mr. Strow, Mr. Wild, and so forth. I didn't forget you, Mike. And but more importantly is I think we've got a nice path forward to solving some issues there that we all don't want to come up. And so I think the seniors are going to be pleased with the direction that the county chooses in the upcoming week. So I just wanted to thank Virginia publicly and Frank O'Keefe for putting that together.
Supervisor Driscoll.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As Kevin said, I really appreciate all the effort that the basketball committee, as well as the occupancy tax committee and Mr. Dickinson put forward to to hopefully get basketball back into Glens Falls for a long period of time. It's a regional initiative. It benefits a lot of our communities. I also, as a basketball fan, I also want to remind people that the opening game of the Adirondack Thunder hockey team is tomorrow night.
Motion to adjourn. Supervisor Beatty, second. Supervisor Frazier, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned, everyone. Thank you.
I know.
Public Affairs programming on Look TV is underwritten by the generous support of Pinnell's Restaurant, classic Italian American food since 1922, and Stored Tech, technology solutions for computers, networks, and phone. Stored Tech, your technology, our passion.
1922, Babe Ruth debuts with the Yankees. WGY signs on air. Exterminator wins the Saratoga Cup, and Pinnell's Restaurant opens its doors for the very first time. For 5 generations, Pinnell's has been preparing delicious Italian food, served in a comfortable, home-like setting where everyone is welcomed. 90 years of authentic Italian recipes, 90 years of the freshest ingredients, and 90 years of the finest classic Italian dishes, all made daily by hand. Pinnell's Italian Restaurant, a Saratoga dining tradition since 1922.
Firms deal only with prevention, the systems that block hackers and viruses. Stored Tech knows the root cause is actually good people doing bad things. So we offer a security training program which includes certifying all participants to show they understand the basics.
Technology solutions for computers, networks, and phones. Stored Tech, your technology, our passion.